Hey everybody, it's that time again. Let's talk about what's going on all across the Dallas-Fort Worth real estate market, including Collin County, having issues with MLS this week. So on the Collin County, going to be a little messed up on the numbers. So before we get into the numbers, let's get into context as always do every week. So the conflict in Iran's going on, as you know, still. 10-year T-bills crept up above 4.4% now. It's up 0.05 today. Not good for mortgage rates. I talked to one of my lenders. I can't quote rates, but let's just say it's creeping up toward that 7. Not far away. He said somewhere about a quarter point away from that. So you can do the math there. Oil, West Texas Intermediate's at 106, up about $4.50, and Brent crude oil is up at 114, up about $6. So that being said, inflation is going to look really ugly in the next couple months. I know you've seen gas prices. Some hit almost 4. They dropped, but with this today, I'm sure they'll go up again. A lot of uncertainty out there. So if you're a buyer, it's a really great time to be looking. Talked with the seller today who was going to hold off because of all the uncertainty in the market. Sellers, it's a good time to be a seller still. Even though you're going to get less, you're going to pay less. Like you, when you go look at homes, most sellers are willing to sell under list. Some are willing to give seller concessions, so keep that in mind. Yeah, rates are up there, but they're at the historic norms, so they're really not high. What really is driving everything, cost of insurance, cost of property taxes. Hopefully we'll see something happen on reform on property taxes, insurance. I don't see that happening because of all the inflation we had during COVID. That right there really drove up the cost to replace homes because they've soared so much in value. Or, well, we should say in price. Price and value are two different things for sure. Anyway, so let's get into the numbers. Last 7 days, all across Dallas-Fort Worth, there were 9,064 new listings. That's down 339 from the week before. 1,238 homes went back on the market, up 129. Homes are still going back on the market because sellers aren't willing to make repairs, or they're just not willing to address things in general. I looked at a home this weekend with some clients. List price was about $740 or so. I'm not going to give away the exact price, but the home was beat up. And I'll just say it was in McKinney. It was in very poor shape. Sellers, if you have a home that's $740,000, make sure it looks like it's a $740,000 home. Don't show a home that's in poor condition, beat up walls, possible mold, windows that need to be replaced, all kinds of issues. So just make sure that if you see it, you fix it because a buyer sees it. Keep that in mind if you're trying to get your home sold. Are things moving quickly? In some cases, I've seen some, like neighborhood I live in, I saw one go under contract for 30 days. 20 days after it went on the market, it was priced right. Sellers actually got what they were asking for and didn't have to pay any concessions. So you see that on rare occasions. So I saw another home not far from me, sold about list price. Sellers paid some concessions. So it's going to vary based on the property and location. Now let's talk about the people that haven't gotten the memo as sellers. There were 1,195 sellers that raised the price of their homes, up 44 from the last week. This is not a seller's market, as you're seeing. These guys got the message. There were 9,899 sellers that reduced the price of their home. That's up 410. Look at that. That's about little over 800 more sellers reduced the price of their home than new listings that hit the market. There are 2,107 new listings, or 2,107 homes that went under contract. That's up 167 from the week before. Look at this number, 6,596 homes closed. That's up 2,175. So if people say real estate's not moving, that's not the case. It is. First week of the month, so we have a lot of listings that expired off MLS. Those were homes that didn't sell. And now they've expired. They're 2,061. That's up 1,483 from last week. And 2,971 home sellers threw up their hands and said, I'm done. That's up 452. Not uncommon to see at the beginning of the month. So now we're to Collin County. Unfortunately, I can't get the actives to work today, but it's somewhere north of 4,000 without a doubt. There's 551 homes under contract, 1,759 pending. And then last week, there were about 3,800 homes that had closed. So we probably got over 4,000 in that number. So sorry I have to be vague, but when MLS doesn't work, not a whole lot I can do about it. But I hope you're finding this information useful. I'm going to be doing some more content. This week's going to be busy. I've got new listings coming to the market, which is a good thing. Sellers are listening. Landlords you need to listen to. It's not a landlord's market, and be prepared. The renting public, you see a lot of credit issues, some rental issues, collections, all kinds of things. I work with investors, help people find tenants, so you run into that. If you have any questions about what's going on in the market, feel free to reach out to me. If you're relocating to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I've lived here since I was 2 years old. Really old man here. Anyway, I'm all kidding aside. I know the area. I lived in the city where I'm at now in Collin County for 28 years. Lived in DFW, another 35 years over that. So if you have any questions, all my contact information is at the end of this video. Feel free to reach out to me, and please like, share, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. My dog Augustus would love it. See you next week, and feel free to reach out to me. Have a great one. Enjoy the nice weather.